Good afternoon, everyone. Looking out the window outside, happy spring, I should say. Welcome to this, our third ever Money Gym Masterclass. My name is Ben West. Yeah, I think, as I say, this is the third time we've done this. So I think we're starting to break into a little bit of a stride with it. Our aim is to do one of these Money Gym Masterclasses once a month throughout this, which is actually London Mutual's 40th year. And that said, it is a little bit hard to believe that we are in March already. So last month, we had quite a good chat about lending and the pros and cons of different types of lending. And then the month before that, we looked at money goals. This month's gym, I think it's fair to say, is a little bit more focused on kind of London Mutual itself and the pros and cons. Well, I should say the pros and cons of different aspects of being part of the credit union, the different aspects of being membership, different services, as well as perhaps giving you some tips about how to make the most of what we have to offer and some of and to manage your account perhaps a little bit easier. One of the features of this month's session is that we've set aside slightly more time than usual for questions at the end. So if you have got something you'd like to ask us, do have a think about it now, because we will have more time than usual at the end to hopefully answer as many people's questions as possible. So without further ado, let me introduce the team members who will be joining us for today's session. So I'm Ben West. If you've come to previous Money Gym sessions, you'll know me from that. But I work to develop London Mutual's products and services and help to promote them in the wider world. And today I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Monica, who's our membership experience lead, and she's our voice for members within London Mutual. It's fair to say. She focuses on ways that we can make our products and services easier to use. Passing on feedback from members into the internal team, and looking at ways that how we can make our services easier for people to navigate and find their ways around. Monica is very much voice for members. I'm also really excited to have Aisha with us today, who as our member services officer is focused on making sure that new members to London Mutual get off to the smoothest possible start, and that things go nice and smoothly when they join us. So in terms of the topic, great couple of people from the team, and I'm sure they'll have lots of kind of interesting insights and tips and ideas to share as we go along. So in terms of what we'll be covering today, we'll be looking at some of the kind of, why be a credit union member and how is being a member of a credit union different from perhaps other types of banks and financial institutions, and looking at some of the aspects of that. We'll be looking, I think, one of the reasons a lot of people come to credit unions is if they're not in the habit of saving, they know that credit unions are very good at helping you to get into the habit of saving. So we'll be looking a little bit about how that works. We covered a lot of this last month. So if you are interested in loans, I would encourage you to go to YouTube and watch that one. But we'll be looking a little bit about how lending works and whether you need to be a member before you apply, and how that works in terms of membership and things like that. I know one that lots of people will hopefully be on today's session because they want to know more about, but we'll be talking a little bit about how to get started with our online and mobile banking tools, and how easy it is since we've upgraded those to get on board and get started with those. We'll round it off with just a few other kind of handy little hints and tips, and I think Monica and Aisha have got some of their favorites to share with you guys. But then, as I say, I think a key focus of today's session will be making sure that there's plenty of time for questions at the end. So we'll keep cracking then. So as usual, I wanted to kick off with a bit of a discussion, Monica and Aisha. You obviously know our members, it's fair to say probably better than almost any other sort of our members of the team. Would you say that in general, our members are kind of making the most of what we have to offer? Because obviously, usually if you join the credit union, it's for a specific reason, whether it's to borrow or save, things like that. So yeah, are people in general making the most of their membership with this, would you say?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, I would say yes. Usually people know what they want from us, what they expect from us. They hear about us from their family members at work. If they wish to save and take the loans with us, or even current account, they've got lots of options. Some people tend to forget that we are here for you to help you with finances, not only the loans, but as well help you to save money. So by having loads of products which we offer, loans, savings account and current accounts, lots of these options gives you the opportunity to save in the same time when you repay the loan, which I would say people forget that, or sometimes they are surprised when they finish the loan repaying. They're like, oh, I've got some money saved, which is like really, really benefit. I feel like it's a benefit for the customers, and many times they forget about it. So I just wanted to point on that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's an aspect which credit unions are known for, but which sometimes surprises people who are new to credit unions, is that, you know, they'll come to us for a loan, and actually, you know, through various ways, we'll actually encourage them to, you know, get from a stage where perhaps they need to borrow so often into a stage where actually they're saving regularly. So I think that's a really good point, Monica, and we'll come on to savings a little bit more later on. And Aisha, in terms of sort of how people manage their accounts day to day, are people in general making the most of that? Or I think you might be muted, Aisha. I've unmuted you now, so we might have missed the first bit there. Yeah, of course, no problem.
I would say that we are. Some people may see us as low tech, and that, you know, they need us to do everything for them. But we have various ways in which members are able to do things for themselves. For example, we have online banking. We have SMS service whereby you can see your balances and things like that. We also have email, where you can email your request into us, and what we'll do is we'll refer it to the relevant department and get your request done.
No, and I think that's a really good point as well. I think, you know, increasingly what you're seeing with the big banks is that you know, is that more and more things are becoming automated. It's becoming harder and harder to speak to a real person. I think, you know, the key with the credit union is that for the day-to-day stuff, we've got tools like our online and mobile banking that make it easy for you to in many cases handle that for yourself, and you can probably do it faster that way. But I think, you know, it's about having that mix, and then also being able to deal with a real person when you need to. And I think one of the benefits of being at the credit union is that you've got a bit of a mix of both. So and we'll come on to that, talking about that a little bit later on. So Aisha, I'm a new member. Imagine I'm a new member thinking of joining London Mutual. What are your favourite benefits of being a member of the credit union? I mean, what would you, if someone was considering joining us, what would you sort of say the key benefits were?
Well, as a member, you have availability to all our products and services, including loans and current accounts. You also have access to, or the option to apply to enter into a lottery. That's a monthly withdrawal. That's a monthly draw. So you'll have the opportunity to do that. We also have, as mentioned before, access to online banking, a mobile app too. And one other benefit I would say is that if the credit union is doing well, we give our members part of the profit, which we call a dividend payment.
And that's an interesting one there. And I know that, Monica, you wanted to, I think, come in on a couple of those aspects about the sort of, you know, as a credit union, we don't have shareholders, and so we don't make a profit. And so there's a kind of a democracy element to it as well, isn't there?
Yes, so every one of you who is a member is actually owning the company. So you've got your say, you've got your vote. Once a year we run AGM when you can take a part with deciding on various decisions. Like actually the payment of the dividend, electing board of directors, auditors. So we give you the chance to take part in this. We usually send emails to every member, even inactive members or active. As long as you're still the member with us, you've got your vote.
That's really interesting. And Aisha, at the start you mentioned the savings thing, and I think, you know, that is one of the things that often attracts people to the credit union. So I wanted to sort of talk a little bit more in detail about the savings element of it, because I think that is one of the things that credit unions are known for, is kind of if you're not in the habit of saving regularly and you really want to, but you haven't really been able to find a way of it. Are you able to talk us through kind of, you know, again, if I was a new member, what are some of my options in terms of saving?
So as a new member, you can set up monthly savings via direct debit or standing orders. You could also have payments taken directly from your salaries or benefits. You could make card payments, cash payments in branch. You could also do one-off payments via our online banking. Via our website. Apologies. and you also have various savings accounts. So we have one called Christmas, and we also have one called Holiday. So most people use the Christmas holidays for, you know, if they're saving up for the Christmas period, and the holiday one if they're, you know, planning for a holiday and things like that. So yeah, there's various ways in which you can save.
And I know that lots of people who take part in our salary deduction scheme, which is available through your employer if your employer offers it. You know, a lot of people I know that when you speak to them, they say that kind of once you're in the kind of the habit of having, I don't know, you know, £5 or £10 or even more taken out of your taken off your salary each month, you tend to get used to it, and because the money's kind of taken off before it hits your account, we have a few cases occasionally where I know that people kind of forget that they've got a deduction in place, and then they're quite surprised when they come back to us, you know, after doing this for 3 or 4 years, and we say, well, actually you've managed to save a few £100 there, and so I think, you know, whether it's through the salary deduction, whether it's through the direct debit, or you know, from your benefits, or, you know, we offer a range of different ways to do it. But I think, you know, making it easy for people to kind of to get into the habit of just having a little bit and often, I think is really key to helping people to save. And I think we talked about that in a little bit more detail back in January. So again, if you're interested in that, head over to our YouTube channel and you can watch that again. Over to you, Monica. I think where is it? Let's have a look. There we are. So again, we covered loan applications in a bit more detail last month. Yeah. But I think, you know, in terms of how do the loan applications work in connection to membership, and what are some of the reasons why people would be interested in perhaps applying for a loan with a credit union rather than with a bank or building society, Monica?
Mm-hmm. So when you start with your payroll deduction, which we offer for various types of companies, and you can find these companies on our website. So this one would be for payroll deduction. As well, we offer loans based on direct debits if we don't cover these companies. So technically, by having savings account, you can apply for a loan with us, and that one can be repaid by direct debit or payroll. If you're interested in opening current account, the loan can be repaid via the part of the standing order or direct debit as well, which will go to your savings account. So by having savings account with us, you've got the options to apply for stress-free loan and risk-free. Decision always is made by the person, is not by the system. We look at every circumstances people may have. We understand we've got certain rules. You need to repay 1/3 of the previous loan before you apply for a new one. We always look at the certain situations what people may have along the way, and it's done by a human being, not by the computer or not by the system. You can apply for a loan online as well as in the branch. We've got lovely staff who can always help you with that. Online, usually application doesn't take longer than 15 minutes. As Ben said before, we've covered most of it on our previous session. Just to make you aware, we need to have certain documents from you before we make the decision on the loan. So sooner you get those documents ready, sooner we can actually make this decision. So this is very important.
So best case scenario, so I'm applying for a loan and I upload all the documents and all the information you need from me. How long roughly is that usually going to take to get a decision on the loan?
It's between 7 and 10 working days, really. But as I mentioned, sometimes customers cannot get this documents on time, or they email the employer for payslip or something like that. So from the time really we've got all the documents, is roughly around 7 to 10 working days.
So there's a message there that I think we'll never get bored of repeating to people, which is that if you do apply for a loan with us, and you would like it sort of sorted as quickly as possible, we will try our best for you. But the way you can help us do that is by uploading things like your pay slips, your bank statements, or any other kind of documents or information like that. If you do that as soon as you possibly can, that's going to avoid delays, which may mean that you end up waiting longer than you need to for a decision on the loan. And I think that's a really important point there. So Monica, we've talked quite a lot about kind of savings and loans, and I'm keen that in this session we also sort of cover some completely new ground, and I think, you know, we give people a kind of a flavor of the different options that they have when it comes to managing their money. I think, you know, online and mobile banking, not all of us are particularly techie, but I think, you know, it's fair to say that over the past couple of years it's become a lot easier. So wondered whether you could just give us a little bit of an overview. I think the other thing to say is that if there are people on here that are interested in getting started with online banking, some really good step-by-step guides which Monica's put together on the help section of our website. That's support.creditunion.co.uk. But if you do need help, or you do run into problems with online banking, do drop us an email, and very often it will be Monica that picks up your email and helps you through that, and we can do whatever we need to in terms of giving you a call or setting up a web, setting up a sort of a screen share with you, different ways that we can help you get up and running with it. But in terms of what you can do with online banking, Monica, talk us through that.
Okay, so yeah, I cannot imagine anyone like not having access to online banking in the times we've got now, especially in the COVID time. Lots of our customers switched to our online banking because this was the only way they could run their businesses on their accounts. You can access your online banking via the computer or your laptop, or as well from our mobile app. So basically checking the accounts they can be done on both of these devices, making payments as well, setting up pays, loan balances, as well as you can manage your direct debits if you've got the current account with us. There are more features on online banking when you access from computer or directly from our website than the mobile app. So just to make you aware that mobile app does have got lots of features, but some of the features, for example, downloading the statement would be available by logging into our website, and online banking from there rather than from mobile app. It is easy to register. We will talk about it like in the next slide. As well as you can update personal details. There is a really good feature in online banking and mobile app which you can communicate with us, and this is very safe tool. Basically, many customers are contacting us via email, mostly via email, where we're not really sure who is emailing us. So we are asking lots of secure information before we actually answer your question if it's very personal and very focused on the financial details. But when it comes to mobile banking, online banking, there is an option called send us a message. Once we pick on this, kind of security bit is skipped because we know who you are and we know that you had to log into your online banking before you actually ask us the questions, and we tend to respond to these messages on the same day.
Okay, so that's a good point, actually, isn't it? So even if you can't figure out how to do exactly what you need to do within the app or online banking, it's still better to send us a message from within the app, because that way we don't have to ask you a whole load of different security questions, because we already know who we are. So we can get on with answering your questions straight away without having to ask you 20 questions. That's if you send us a message from within the app, rather than emailing us and things. I think the other question I think lots of people will have, Monica, is do you need to register twice for the online banking and for the mobile app, or is it one registration for both?
It's one registration. It can be done through the app. It can be done through online banking when you log into our website. Only thing what we need from you is your membership number. That one can be found through various emails we've sent to you, welcome letter. There is an option on our website when you can send a text message to get your membership number if you forgot that. Then we need to have up-to-date mobile number. So if you do change your mobile number, please let us know. This is very important because part of the process of registration is sending secure code to your mobile number. If that one is different, it won't allow you to register. So I am kind of making people aware of that we need to have up-to-date information, especially mobile number, because that one sometimes does change. Your date of birth doesn't change. That one stays the same. We ask for it. And the last one is your national insurance number. The reason why we ask for national insurance number, because it's obviously secure and as well is unique for each person. And once you fill it, all of this for information, you will be able to set up your password and memorable information, and then it will direct you to actually it will direct you to finish with the registration and able to log in.
So we'll talk. You're going to take us through the registration process in a little bit more detail in a second. But I think the other thing to say is that if that sounds quite a long, drawn-out process, I think the thing to remember is that you only have to do it once. So once you're registered for online banking, you'll have your member number and you'll have set your password, and you'll be able to use those details to log into online banking or into the mobile app at any time. So the whole registration process takes maybe 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how technical you are. But once you're up and running, you'll only ever have to do it once, and it's pretty easy from then on. So in terms of how that registration process works, break it down for us, Monica. Take us through one step at a time.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, you've got the option. The top one is set up your login access. So that one is ask for your membership. That one asks for your membership number and the password. This is the part when you ask for membership number and password. This is the part where you actually log in when it's already set up. If it's not set up, you set it up via set up your login details. As I mentioned earlier, we ask you for your membership number, date of birth, mobile number, and national insurance number. Once all of them are typed, you will be asked for creating the password and memorable information, not only for yourselves. In the end, you will be sent. We will send you the secure message to your mobile number, which you have to type in. Once it's done, you will be able to set up the name for your online banking, agree with terms and conditions, and you're logged in.
Brilliant. And so, as we say, once you've got that that password and that security question set, you can use those details to log into online banking anytime. Other thing to say is that if you get the mobile app, you install that on your phone, and actually with your app, if you've got fingerprint login or face login or whatever features your phone has got, you don't even have to remember the password, because actually you'll be able to use your thumbprint or your face in order to log in each time. So once it's up and running and installed on your phone, really easy to then log in future. If you're a little bit unsure about it, do the registration process, see how you go, and it should be plain sailing on from there. So we're getting about ready to the time, I think, where we want to start answering some questions. But before we get there, there are a few other kind of aspects of membership that I think both Monica and Aisha asked us to cover today, we haven't got a lot of time to cover them in a lot of detail today, but it might get a few people thinking, oh, I'd like to find out a little bit more about that. And if that's you, feel free to ask us about it in the chat or to send us an email. So Aisha, Monica, go ahead, talk us through any of these that you think our members should ought to know more about.
Budget planner. That one I think is very, very important. I actually went on a meeting on Zoom a few minutes ago. Many times people don't know how they can save or how much they can save. So basically that one will allow you to actually calculate how much you can technically afford to save each month. We will ask you for that option is actually available on our website. We will ask you for your income and roughly expenditure you've got every month. And that one will give you roughly amount how much you can save, and this savings will be always accessible. Let's say if something happens, you need more money, you can always transfer this money online by using online banking. So budgeting is very, very important when you wish to save for the future for any reasons you like.
I think the other nice thing about that budget tool, sorry to cut in there, Monica. I think the other nice thing about that budget tool is that I think everyone should know that it's provided by the Government Money Advice Service. So actually all the information sent through there doesn't go to us, doesn't get saved, doesn't go to anyone. It's all just entered into your internet browser. It tells you how much money you've got, works out your budget for you, but none of that information gets saved anywhere. It just produces a report which you can save to your computer, close the browser, and all that stuff's forgotten. So I think the budget planner is a really good tool for members to use, and it's completely independent from us, which is worth bearing in mind. Sorry, Monica, you were going to talk about one of the other ones.
It's okay. Member lottery, I shall already covered that earlier on. That one is introduced as well, and it's a lot of information is on our website. That option gives you the chance to win cash prizes while raising money, which supports our credit union work. The tickets can be paid. It starts from £1 per one ticket. You can go up to 10 tickets per 1 month. Lottery winners are disclosed on our website. Not full information. Just like we will send you always the text once you won the lottery. For March, for example, the top prize was £2,403. So
you're not going to win the sort of the £100 million jackpot, but a couple of grand would be quite a nice surprise for anybody, I imagine. That's really interesting. Aisha, any of these ones that you wanted to pick up for us or chip in on?
I'll go to the next one, the loan tracker. So whilst your application is being processed, should we require any further information or anything of the sort, you would be notified. So you would always have track or access to, you know, what is happening with your application form and what stage it's at the time.
That's useful to know. So you know, sometimes it might not always be necessary to give us a call or drop us an email, and you might be able to get the information you need right then and there without having to wait for a reply for us. That's worth bearing in mind.
The loan tracker is very good as well and very useful for customers who are, for example, the loan is needed for emergency and they keep emailing us. Bear in mind, like we've got certain amount of people in the loan departments as well while they need to process the loan. Sometimes there is really no time to respond to all of the emails. So the loan tracker is very useful tool. Once we're missing some information, you will be asked exactly for what information we need from you. As soon as you basically send us this information, we will be able to process the loan for you.
So if any of you sort of ordered a Domino's pizza during lockdown, you'll be familiar with the concept. Just like with Domino's, they tell you whether the pizza's in the oven or baking. Our tool will basically tell you whether our loans team are sort of, you know, putting the pepperoni on your loan application, or whether it's out for delivery at the moment. All of that sort of thing, similar concept. So if you haven't used that tool yet, do check it out because it's.
Can I just add something, Ben?
Yeah, of course.
So just in regards to the loan tracker, it's very, very important that your email address is correct. If it's changed, it's very important that it's updated. Otherwise, that service will not work.
Okay, yeah. So obviously, in order to email you the link to the loan tracker, we need a valid email. So as with what Monica was saying earlier about phone numbers and email addresses, please help us help you by making sure that your contact details on your credit union account are always up to date. Well, as promised, we've got a bit more time than usual for questions, and we are keen to cover as many as possible. You'll see on your screen now instructions, as usual, on how to ask us a question, and we will aim to cover as many as we can. But if you do have something that's kind of perhaps a little bit more personal or a bit more specific to you, or which you'd kind of rather have us sort of go away and deal with you privately, do always email us at feedback@creditunion.co.uk. That goes into our exciting brand new customer support system, which will ensure that we get back to you within during working hours within 2 hours, and we'll aim to sort of to fully kind of resolve your question within 24 hours. So if you do send us an email there, rest assured it's not going to get lost in anyone's inbox. It's going to be dealt with nice and quickly. So without further ado, I'm just going to open up the chat and see if we've got any questions for people to answer. Monica, Aisha, any of the ones that you've seen that you'd like to sort of pick up and ask about?
Aisha, do you want to go first, or?
Let's see. Okay, so I can see one about the salary and benefit deductions. How that works is, so the salary deduction is, we have various companies which are connected to our common bond. So because of that, we're able to set up payroll deductions directly from your wages into your membership or your current account. With the benefit deduction, it's quite similar. The deduction is taken directly from your benefits and put into your savings or current account.
That's really useful. Thanks, Aisha. A couple of questions here around dividends, and I think that's a really good question. So dividends are based on when the credit union makes surplus, and those profits are shared out amongst the members. A vote is taken each year at the annual general meeting, so any member can attend the general meeting and have a vote on how much dividend to pay or what the level of the dividend is going to be. Now, the case has been that over the past few years, because of the COVID pandemic, and before that due to some kind of a significant amount of investment in the kind of the online banking, the mobile banking, it has actually been a few years since the board has recommended that we pay out a dividend. So unfortunately for those of you that are asking where's my dividend got to, it has been a few years, but the plan is that, you know, when the credit union does return to making a profit, as a credit union that doesn't end up in anybody's you know, in any kind of private shareholders' pockets or anything like that, that money will be recommended to be paid out to members as a dividend, as and when the credit union returns to a stronger financial state. That, you know, given where the economy and given where economic conditions are at the moment, you know, the board generally sort of their view is that it's not responsible to be paying out dividends, you know, at a time when the kind of the credit unions, you know, could be in a stronger financial position. But as I say, that's a decision which is kind of taken democratically by members at the annual general meeting. So if you do have views on that, or you would like to have a kind of, you know, if you would like the opportunity to vote on that, would encourage you to take part in the annual general meeting, which you'll receive an email each year around February. The annual general meeting tends to be at the start of March each year, so you'll have the opportunity to come along and vote on that. So that's on the dividends. Monica, any questions that you wanted to pick up on?
Yeah, I'll try to cover like 2 or 3. So with in addition to salary benefit deduction, the companies which we cover are on our website. So if you're employed by these companies, please have a look. So in this case, we'll be able to offer you payroll deduction rather than direct debit. Then next one, when you don't, so basically it's from Sandy, it's about online banking and where can I find my budget planner. You actually don't have to log into your online banking. It's located on our website on the right hand side corner. When you basically go on our menu, it will be over there, so you don't have to really go to your online banking. There is no limit for deposit and withdrawal. However, if there is certain amount of money coming, our AML officer, will ask you to provide some documents where the money is coming from. When it comes to withdrawals online as well, you can withdraw as much as you like. However, in the branch, there is a limit. With savings account is £300 a day.
Monica, just on that stuff, you said that if it's a larger or a more kind of unusual deposit money going in, we're going to carry out extra checks. What's the thinking behind that?
We would, so basically if customer brings significant amount of cash, we would ask where the money is coming from. So assuming, like I assume these funds are withdrawn from another bank account, so we probably may ask for the other bank account, like a statement or something. It's just basically it's for our own security AML reasons.
Okay, so that's to comply with the law around kind of money laundering, tackling organised crime, and all those sorts of issues. So as long as the money that you're depositing has come from a kind of legitimate source, there won't be any issues with that. We just want to carry out extra checks to make sure that that's all being done properly. Any other question? Got a question here about
current accounts.
Yeah. Maybe that's one for you, Aisha.
Okay. So well, I'll read the question in case anybody's missed it. It says, I don't have a current account. How do I open one? Can I get a loan without a current account? So first of all, to apply for a current account, you can do it online. If you have the app, you can do it via the app, or you can go to your local branch. You don't need to have a current account to apply for a loan. If we require you to have one, then we will inform you of that, but you don't necessarily need to have a current account to apply for a loan with us.
Great, and it's fair to say that kind of most members sort of mostly just have their membership account, which is mostly for kind of for savings, and if you have a loan, that's where your loan payments. So the current account is available, but it's very much kind of an optional add-on, and you don't need to have a current account in order to save or to borrow with us.
Exactly.
It's purely if you want to use us for your main account and you want to have your sort of pay your bills out of it, have your salary paid in, if you want a debit card so that you can withdraw money. If you're looking to use us for kind of day-to-day things, you might need a current account. But if you're looking at using your credit union account for savings and for loans, there's no need for a current account as well. Monica, there was a question here around loans. I wonder whether that was one that you were able to pick up for us.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. The question is from Val. Hi, if I want to apply for a home renovation loan, what is the amount that can be borrowed? Do plans and cost of works need to be provided? No, we don't ask for it. So once you apply for a certain amount of loan and put that you need it for home renovations, we will ask only for the documents, like payslip, recent payslip, 2 months bank statement where money comes in. We would not ask you for the cost of your renovation and things like that, so no.
And I think like all of our loans, ultimately the amount you can borrow with us is going to be based on your income and your ability to repay the loan. So you know, because it's not a mortgage, it's not going to be based on the value of the property or the value of the work you're doing or anything like that. It's based purely on your own personal income. On the question of mortgages, there is some exciting news there, which we may be able to share with you in a few months. But for the time being, that's the key element of the decision. Any other questions that I've missed from people, or you know, last chance to get your questions in if you haven't had the chance to ask one yet? I'll pick up the one around investment opportunities. So in terms of traditional investment products, so those would be things like you know, bonds and stock market investments and those sorts of investments. That's not something which we as a credit union offer. I think, you know, the thing that I would say is that you know, by depositing and saving money with the credit union, that in a different sort of way is you know, as a way of investing in the community. But in terms of you know, conventional, proper, regulated investment products, that's not something which we offer as a credit union. Pamela logged in. It said that she logged in a little bit late because of technical issues, but would like to know how to set up online banking. So without completely recapping the previous slides, Monica, what's the best way for Pamela to get in touch with us or to find help with getting started?
Yes, Pamela, if you email us on the email you kind of see on your page now, feedback@creditunion.co.uk, I will be able to answer as soon as I get your email. I will be able to direct you through this.
Sandy, that's a very good question. So yes, we are doing the Money Gym sessions every month, and each month we're covering a different topic. After we've closed the Q&A, I was actually going to come on and give a preview of next month's session, quite an exciting one because we're going to have an external guest speaker. But if it's okay, we'll hold off on doing that until we've just answered a couple more questions. Give us a couple more minutes, and then I can share what we'll be talking about in next month's session. The lottery draw. Does anybody want to explain a little bit more about how that works?
With the lottery draw, you have the option of selecting the amount you would like to put in on your application form. It starts as little as £1. It's just like any other lottery, to be fair. So what will happen is the lottery is drawn monthly. So everybody that has put in will be put into like a hat, and the winner will then be selected from that for that period. And the winners are disclosed on our website as well, and it's from £1 to £10 per month.
Brilliant. And I think it's fair to say that the prizes might be slightly smaller than the national lottery, but your chances of winning something are probably quite a bit higher, because you're in the lottery with all of the other London Mutual members rather than everybody else in the rest of the country. So your chances of winning are probably quite a little bit better.
Someone's saying, how do I open the Christmas account? You can send us an email. You can send us an email, and we can have that open for you. It's free account. It's free account. If you decide to put money in there, we can just see if you've got current account. If you pay by direct debit, we can advise you on this. So please send us an email on feedback@creditunion.co.uk so we give you more information. Okay.
Tomorrow's got a really good question. It's one that we get often a lot. Is how do you go about making a payment from an external bank into your savings account? So you know, a one-off payment in. What are the different options? Because we've added a few more options on that front, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got card payment option, but recently we've updated it as well. We gave customers the other options as pay by bank. That one is much faster tool. Once you select that to pay to your savings account, it directs you directly to your external bank account online banking, where you can choose how much you wish to pay to your savings account with us, and selecting which actually account you wish to pay, like memberships, holidays account, or Christmas account. Once you put money there, the money will appear in your account literally like in the same time, but we always give like a bracket, it's up to 2 hours.
Yeah, and I think the thing to say about that is that if you are looking to make a one-off payment into your account, you can do that on our website. So you don't need to be logged into online banking or into your mobile app. You can literally just go straight to our website. It's creditunion.co.uk. you'll see an option at the top to do that, or it's /pay. So creditunion.co.uk/pay. And on that page, you'll see the option to either make a one-off payment through the options that Monica's just talked about, or if you're not currently sort of saving regularly with us, there's also an option there to set up a direct debit to pay money regularly into your account. So you can do all of that through our website without needing to be logged in to online banking or mobile banking as well. There's a slightly related question about what's the sort code for my savings account if I have one. I'm right in saying that savings accounts don't have sort codes, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, correct. We don't have sort codes or account numbers for the savings account. If you need details such as sort codes or account numbers, we would advise that you apply for a current account. But as mentioned before, you can make card payments, set up a direct debit to be paid into your share account.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to add on that. Sorry, just wanted to add on this. For benefits and salaries, we do not offer this option for the savings account. It's purely for the savings reasons. If you wish to open the current account, this is designed for that reason. However, as Aisha mentioned, you can save money via direct ways, direct debits, card payments options, cash in the branch. So yeah.
So on that specific question about how you'd get your loan paid in that case, the way you do it is if you head to creditunion.co.uk/pay, on that page, you'll be able to make a one-off payment into your credit union account, either by entering your debit card details from your other bank account, or through connecting to your bank. So at creditunion.co.uk/pay, you'll be able to make a one-off payment towards the cost of your loan, or there's an option there to set up a direct debit with us, so that you can make a regular payment into your membership account. And the money that goes into your membership account, if you've got a loan with us, your loan repayments will be automatically taken out of that. And if you don't have a loan with us, that money obviously just goes towards savings. So creditunion.co.uk/pay. I keep on mentioning it, but that's the best place to get money paid into your membership account if you don't have a current account. But any problems with that, definitely drop us an email and we can send you a link. Sorry, Monica. Yes,
sorry.
Yeah, something to add? No problem.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to add as well, I can see lots of questions which actually appear on our help section on our website. There are like hundreds of the articles which we are obviously working with Ben on this. So if you've got any question, I would advise to check that that section first. If you've got any other questions you cannot find the answer, please send me an email on feedback@creditunion.co.uk. I'll make sure the article is ready for you, or at least you will get the answer from me.
Which brings us on very nicely to this helpful slide here, and we'll make sure that the details here are circulated around to everybody that registered as well. As I say, one of the things that's changed over the past year is that we have launched a new online help desk, which is support.creditunion.co.uk, and you can also email us at help@creditunion.co.uk. That's one email address. All of the members of staff, different departments across London Mutual, they've all got access to that email address now, and there's a system in there so that when your email's received, be logged into our system, be assigned to the right department to handle it, and they'll get back to you with a response within 2 working hours when we're open. So during working days and during working hours, we'll get back to you within 2 working hours, and then aim to get the whole matter kind of resolved for you within a maximum of 24 hours. So worth making note of that email address, because currently that probably is the best way to contact us. But if you are up and running with online banking, the other way to do it, and which will avoid us having to carry out additional security checks, is to log into your mobile and online banking and send us a secure message through the app. And then alternatively, if neither of those 2 options work for you, you can of course always visit us in our branches, and details of those are on our website, or give us a call, although be aware with the calls that sometimes lines can get a little bit busy, so probably best to avoid things like Monday mornings and things like that, because sometimes it can be, unfortunately, a little bit of a wait to answer the calls. So yep, those are the best ways to contact us. But if you do have any other questions or things that we can help with, drop us an email at any time. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. as I say, next month, we're going to be shaking it up a little bit with our first ever guest hosted masterclass. We'll be joined by a guest from the UK illegal money lending team, who will be sharing, it's fair to say, some pretty shocking stories, unfortunately, about illegal loan sharks conning people in our community, ripping them off. And they'll be sort of sharing some kind of examples of that, talking a little bit about the risks of dealing with an unlicensed lender, and why we should all be spreading the word about credit unions as the alternative to that. So that should be quite an interesting one with the police illegal money lending team. So as usual, we'll be emailing all members with the registration link for that. It'll be roughly around this time next month, but we'll send out the date and the details of that. If you aren't able to tune in live, then this and that video will be available on our YouTube channel for you to watch later. Until then, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great month and see you next time. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.